Welcome back, guys. Today we are back with another problem, and today's problem is the sorted subsequence of size 3. The sorted subsequence of size 3. It's a medium-based problem, but here some constraints are given. That is why it's a medium-based problem, or else this is a very simple problem. So the problem is that you are given an array. You need to find any three elements in such that the first element is lesser than the index of the first element is lesser than error of j and lesser than k, and I is j is less than k. The output will be 1 if the subsequence written by the function in the present array and the subsequence is not present in the array, then return an empty array if the subsequence is this and so. And you have to know that the length of the subsequence has to be of 3, means the size is 3. So if you see 1, 2, 1, 1, 3 in this thing, if you see the correctly, if you find all three elements such that if you see this element 1, which is a subsequence, is lesser than 2, which is lesser than 3 at some point of time. Okay, so we have to do this. So how we are going to solve this? I'm going to devise some of the rules and algorithm to this particular solution. So I will be writing the rules. So if the rules are like this, that we have to first ask is to create two arrays. Okay, create two arrays. So one is a small, okay, and other one you can say a large array. So now you have created two small and large arrays. So what are the functions of the small and large array? Small array will store the smallest element index, okay, which is left of array of I. So if you have a element like this and your element suppose lies in this position, then from here to here is kind of like a binary search. So you have to find the smallest element over here. Okay, now for the large array, same thing with the greatest element found so far till the array. So it is just the same, but this greatest element you have to find within this particular range. Okay, now we have to next task is populate the small array and large arrays. Okay, we have to populate the small and large arrays. So we have to iterate from left to right. And we have to give us conditions, say small of I is greater than array of I, then we will get the smallest index. Similarly, for grade of I is array of I, we will get a greater index value. Okay, lastly, we will return -1 if not found given subsequence, or 0, okay, and 1 if it is found. Okay. So without any delays, let us go and understand the coding and implementation part of this particular solution. So as you can see that we will be given a list, okay, and the list data type is list, so the function is going to return a list. So if you see the driver code most probably says that it will return -1 if the size is not equals to 3, or return 1 if the size is valid, and driver code handles efficiently the entire problem. Okay, so if you see the driver code, you will understand why we are doing this. Okay, we are also made an is subsequence function to check the values whether it's a subsequence or not, and so on. Okay, so we can just go with the find the three numbers which are a part of the subsequence. Okay, so first task is if my I can say length n equals to error dot length array dot length length. Okay, and if the n is less than 3, I can return new array list. I'm just going to simply return the array list. Okay, now I'll be having, say, small array equals to new int of size n, and I will be similarly having a big array of size n, so I can write big over here. Okay, I've written smaller big. Now we have to initialize the values. So for that, arrays dot fill, I can say small -1. Initially I'm filling the arrays as -1. This is my check, so I can write it over here, arrays dot fill. I can write big as also -1. So I've made small and big both as -1. Okay, now I have to find the minimum index okay, and is equals to 0. And similarly I will write max index equals to n minus 1. So initially I'm assuming that the largest index is at the end of the array. Okay, so that's why I've taken the max index as n minus 1 and the smaller index at the start of the array as n minus 1. So what I can do is I can traverse through this particular array. So int I equals to 1, I less than n, I plus plus. Okay, I'll be giving a condition if the array of I is lesser than equals to array of minimum index, and I can store the minimum index actually. Okay, so I can write my minimum index equals to I. Okay, similarly once I've written the minimum index as I, what I can do is I can write the else part. So I can say small value has the index, so small of I is equals to minimum of index. It's just finding the smallest element in an array. That same concept we use. Okay, minimum index, then minimum index is I, or else we are using the small index. Now we are going to do the same thing but over here with the larger value or the bigger value. So finding the bigger index, the same thing will be working. So it will start from I equals to n minus I is equals to n minus 2. Okay, since one index I've taken, less equals to 0, I minus minus. Okay, so I've taken this, I'm reversing the loop from the large value. I can say my array of I is greater than equals to array of max index. I can write it max. So I can say now my max index is officially I, or else my bigger value will be placed in this max index. Okay, so I've completed the loop as well. Now I have to check the triplet condition. So I can just write it like this: for int I equals to 0, I less than n plus plus. Inside this I can write if the small of I is not equals to minus 1 and the big of I is not equals to minus 1, then the subsequence is found. So I can return the subsequence arrays dot as. It helps me efficiently return the entire thing. Array of small of I, just be careful with the syntax. Array of big of I. Okay, so that's all. The for loops are being the for loop is being efficiently completed. So if no value is such value is found, I can return a minus 1. So I can return new array list like this. Okay, so make sure you guys have liked, shared, and subscribed to this channel. I will just quickly compile. So min index equals to I. Okay, compile. Hmm. Let us just go through that particular solution. So firstly, what we are doing, we are checking n equals to length and less than 3, we are returning the new array list. Okay, fine. Smaller and larger values are storing. We are filling the small with minus 1, the big with minus 1. So we are checking the min index equals to 0, and after that for loop we are running till this. If our array of I is less than equals to the minimum index, then we are updating the minimum index as the small index. So then we are taking the max index. So I can write it over here as well. Into max index, we are taking the max index. I minus minus is greater than equals to of max index, else else greater of else the bigger index is equals to the max index. We have covered the for loop. For I 0 less than n plus plus not equals to minus 1 and big is not equals to minus 1. Arrays. Okay, there has to be 3 subsequence: the small, the big, and the medium one. So I can So slightly close. And this should work. Yeah. Let's submit our solution. So we have successfully solved today's problem statement, and we are looking forward to solve more videos in future. Thank you so much.